I'm not sure if you're aware of this or not, but there is a strike going on in Hollywood. The Writers and the Actors Guild have decided that they're not happy with what's going on in Hollywood, and they are going to take a stand and tell them that they need millions of dollars more than they're already making. At least the actors. The writers don't make anywhere near that. They don't make anywhere near that. Though I'm sure successful ones make a decent living. I don't know how much the bottom of the barrel writers make, but I'm sure a successful writer that's known probably does okay. I'm not going to talk about the writers, though. I'm going to talk about the worst thing that could have possibly happened to their cause, and that's the actors joining them. The actors joining the writers on strike was the worst possible thing for their cause. And I'm going to tell you why. Most of these actors in Hollywood are over entitled narcissist babies. And they're usually extremely far left. They're very vocal about it. And they're very annoying. And they also don't realize how stupid some of the things they say comes off when they're out there doing interviews. Example A, Billy Porter. So, if you remember, in the recent Amazon Cinderella story, Billy Porter played the fairy godmother. So he's out there making moves, and he's in some movies here and there, and he's broke. Billy Porter says, I have to sell my house due to strikes, slams Bob Iger for saying our demands for a living wage are unrealistic. F you. This is why this comes off as bad. Billy Porter, well, had millions of dollars, but this dude apparently lives paycheck to paycheck because he doesn't live a modest life. See, if I had millions of dollars, the last thing and I'm talking a couple million or even just $1 million, the last thing I would do is buy $1 million house. $1 million house is for multi-millionaires. Apparently, that's not Billy Porter. But the first thing he did when he came into his money, apparently, is go buy a $2 million house, which he now has to sell because he lives paycheck to paycheck. Most people right now are one paycheck away from being homeless. And that's not due to them living outside of their means. That's them struggling. But Billy Porter was out there going to fine restaurants every day, probably buying the best fashion that he can get his hands on every day. I bet if you were to walk into this dude's closet, I guarantee you there is the latest top clothing in there that costs ridiculous amounts of money. I'm talking like Yeezy sneakers that were $100,000. And I know that's not the case anymore. I can't think of a brand of shoe that costs that much money right now, so I'm using that one. But you get my point. Like, this dude's going out to nightclubs probably all the time, going out to fancy restaurants all the time, living extravagantly. And now he can't live extravagantly anymore. This does not come off as, like, okay with regular people. Regular people are looking at this and saying, what? This is why this is the worst thing to happen to the writers people, because the writer people don't live like this. And I'm not kidding about all of this shit. He says it himself in this interview with the Evening Standard. I don't feel bad for this clown. I don't have to sell my house, Porter said. Yeah, because we're on strike. And I don't know when we're going to go back. The life of an artist until you make FU money, which I haven't made yet. You've made millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. You have made FU money. How do you make millions of dollars and lose all of it? Living check to check. I was supposed to be in a new movie and on a new television show starting in September. None of that is happening. So to the person who said we're going to starve them out until they have to sell their apartments, you've already starved me out. They've only been on strike for a couple of weeks. 100 days. Let's go with the 100-day thing. How the hell have you spent all of your money? This dude sold a $2 million home. So you can't just get a $2 million home on your word. You need to make a down payment. Like this, he had money and he spent it. Extravagantly spent it. I don't feel bad for this. And you know what's funny is they wrote this down thinking that this was going to make people feel sympathetic for him. Everybody is dunking on this guy, by the way. Everybody is making fun of this guy. I don't have any words for it, but F you. That's not useful, so I've kept my mouth shut. I haven't engaged because I'm so enraged. When I go back, I will join the picket lines. This is a joke. This is entitlement. And it's bad for the actors really didn't need to go on strike. They should have just kept working. You're just not going to get any new scripts. This is the worst thing to happen to the writers. And some of the shit that the writers talk about, I agree with them. I just say let them fight. Let the studios and the writers fight. The actors, though, they didn't need to do this. They're only there out of solidarity. And this kind of shit right here, a normal person reads, and if they were even remotely on the side of the people that are striking, this turns them away. Said, I had to sell my $2 million house because I live paycheck to paycheck. And by the way, my paychecks are millions of dollars. Where people can't even afford to fill up their gas tanks or fill up their refrigerators anymore. Sorry, Billy Porter can't go to that 5-star restaurant tonight. This is a bad look. Bad look. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Check out my Rumble and my locals. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my locals.